The entire kingdom had gathered to witness a royal engagement that would unite two powerful realms. The Alpha King stood beside the princess he had promised to marry, ready to secure his future and fulfill a vow made years ago. But as he reached for the ceremonial ring, a sense stopped him cold. His wolf surged forward, restless and desperate. Then the moon goddess's mark blazed across his skin. Somewhere in the crowd stood his true mate, and she was not the princess. The celebration had been planned for months. Banners hung from every tower. Musicians filled the palace courtyard with triumphant melodies. Nobles from distant territories crowded the grand hall, eager to witness the engagement that would unite two powerful kingdoms. From her place among the servants, Lyra watched it all unfold. No one paid much attention to her. They never did. She carried trays, delivered messages, and disappeared into the background before anyone could notice she existed. That was how life had always been. An orphan raised within palace walls. Useful, but never important. As the royal guests took their seats, she tried to focus on her duties, yet an uneasy feeling lingered beneath her skin. For weeks, strange dreams had haunted her sleep. In every dream, moonlight poured from the sky like silver rain. A distant voice whispered her name, and each time she reached toward the voice, she woke before seeing who called her. At first, she dismissed the dreams as imagination, but they had become stronger, more vivid, more real. The latest dream had left her trembling. The voice had spoken only 3 words. The time comes. A chill ran through her as she remembered it. Lyra. She turned. An elderly healer stood beside her. The woman studied her carefully. You look pale. I'm fine. You've been saying that for weeks. Lyra forced a smile. The healer lowered her voice. Have the dreams returned? Her stomach tightened. Only one person knew about them. Yes. The older woman frowned. What did you see this time? Before she could answer, a horn sounded through the palace. The ceremony was beginning. Everyone immediately turned toward the massive staircase. The Alpha King appeared, tall, commanding, the kind of man whose presence silenced an entire room. Every eye followed him. Even after years of serving in the palace, Lyra still found him intimidating, not because he was cruel, because he carried the weight of leadership so naturally. Tonight, however, he seemed distracted. His expression was unreadable. As he descended the stairs, whispers spread among the guests. The princess had arrived. She entered moments later. Elegant, beautiful, confident. The future Luna everyone expected. Applause erupted. The kingdom adored her. The marriage would strengthen alliances, increase prosperity, and secure peace. Everything seemed perfect. Yet as Lyra watched the couple approach the ceremonial platform, the strange unease inside her intensified. Something felt wrong, terribly wrong. She couldn't explain it, only that her heartbeat had suddenly become impossible to ignore. Fast, heavy, relentless. Then the Alpha King stopped walking. The hall fell silent. Confusion rippled through the crowd. The princess glanced at him. What is it? He didn't answer. His gaze had shifted, searching, scanning the guests, the servants, the guards, as though he had sensed something unexpected. A muscle tightened in his jaw. For a moment, his eyes moved across the room, directly toward Lyra. Their gazes met. The impact struck her like lightning. A sharp pulse shot through her chest. She nearly dropped the tray she carried. The sensation vanished as quickly as it came. The Alpha King looked away. The ceremony resumed. Conversation slowly returned. Yet neither of them seemed completely at ease. Hours later, after the celebration ended, Lyra finally escaped to her small room. Exhaustion weighed heavily on her. She expected sleep to come quickly. Instead, the dream returned. Only this time it was different. Moonlight surrounded her, brighter than ever before. The mysterious voice no longer sounded distant. It was close, very close. And for the first time, she saw a figure standing within the silver glow. A woman, radiant, powerful, ancient, the moon goddess herself. Lyra froze. The goddess raised a hand. A symbol of light appeared in the air between them, one Lyra had never seen before, yet somehow recognized. The symbol began to burn. The palace, the engagement, the Alpha King. Everything flashed through her mind. Then the goddess finally spoke. Her voice echoed like thunder beneath the stars. Before the next full moon, destiny will shatter a promise that was never meant to be. Lyra's eyes flew open. Her room was dark, silent, except for one impossible thing. The same glowing symbol from the dream was now burning faintly on her wrist. and outside her window, palace guards were running to the courtyard as alarm bells suddenly began to ring. The alarm bells continued ringing long after midnight. Sleep was impossible. The glowing symbol on Lyra's wrist had faded, but it had not disappeared. A faint silver outline remained beneath her skin, pulsing softly whenever she touched it. Outside, voices echoed through corridors. Something serious had happened. She quickly dressed and stepped into the hallway. Servants and guards rushed past her. Fear hung in the air. Everyone seemed to be talking about the same thing. The Alpha King had abruptly canceled the final engagement ceremony scheduled for the following morning. No explanation had been given. Rumors spread faster than wildfire. Some claimed an enemy kingdom had threatened war. Others whispered that an ancient curse had returned. No one knew the truth. As dawn approached, the elderly healer found her waiting near the gardens. The moment the older woman saw the mark, her face lost all color. "Where did you get this?" It appeared after the dream. The healer grabbed her wrist. Her hands trembled. "Impossible. What does it mean?" For several seconds, the woman said nothing. Then she looked around carefully to ensure they were alone. "I hoped I would never see this mark again." A chill crawled down Lyra's spine. "You recognize it?" The healer nodded. "It belongs to an ancient prophecy." The words struck like thunder. Years ago, before Lyra had been born, a seer visited the kingdom. She foretold that one day the moon goddess would choose a Luna unlike any before. Not a princess, not a noble woman, not someone born into power. The chosen one would emerge in the shadows and change the fate of every wolf alive. Most believed the prophecy was nothing more than a legend. Until now, the mark proves the prophecy is real, the healer whispered. And if others discover it, your life will never be the same. Before Lyra could ask another question, footsteps approached. The healer immediately released her wrist. A group of royal guards entered the garden. At their center stood the princess. Her elegant smile remained in place, but something cold lurked behind her eyes. The princess dismissed the guards with a gesture. Once they were alone, her gaze settled on Lyra. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then the princess smiled. "You become very interesting." Fear tightened inside her chest. "I don't understand." "Oh, I think you do." The princess stepped closer, far too close. Her voice dropped. "Did you really think no one noticed what happened during the ceremony?" Lyra's pulse quickened. The princess continued. "The moment he looked at you, everything changed." Silence followed. Dangerous silence. The princess's smile vanished. "I spent years preparing for that marriage." Her voice remained calm. Too calm. And now a servant appears at the exact moment destiny begins behaving strangely. A cold realization settled over Lyra. The princess suspected something. Maybe not everything, but enough. Before she could respond, another voice interrupted. "Leave." The command came from behind them. The Alpha King. The princess stiffened. For the first time, irritation flashed across her face. Yet she obeyed. As she walked away, she glanced back once. The look she gave Lyra was not one of confusion. It was a warning. When she disappeared, silence returned. The Alpha King studied Lyra carefully. His expression revealed nothing, yet his wolf was close to the surface. She could feel it, for reasons she couldn't explain. Her own heartbeat responded. Neither knew what to say. Finally, he spoke. "There's something I need to show you." Every instinct told her to refuse. Instead, she followed him. He led her through hidden corridors beneath the palace. Passages few people even knew existed. Eventually, they reached an ancient chamber carved deep into stone. Moonlight streamed through an opening in the ceiling. Old symbols covered every wall. The moment Lyra entered, the mark on her wrist began glowing. Brighter, brighter, brighter. The Alpha King's eyes widened. He moved toward one of the carvings. A symbol identical to hers had been etched into the stone centuries ago. Beneath it were words written in an ancient language. He stared at the inscription. His face hardened. "What does it say?" she asked. He looked at her. For the first time, uncertainty appeared in his eyes. Then he answered. "It says the moon goddess will break a royal vow and unite the Alpha King with the true Luna. The room fell silent. Neither needed to say the obvious. The royal vow was his promise to marry the princess. And according to the prophecy, that promise was never meant to happen. Before either could process the revelation, a hidden door behind the chamber suddenly creaked open. A figure stepped from the darkness. Someone who should have been dead for nearly 20 years. And the moment Lyra saw the stranger's face, her entire world shattered. The stranger stared at Lyra as though seeing a ghost. Tears immediately filled the woman's eyes. For a moment, no one spoke. No one moved. Then the woman whispered a single word. "My daughter." The world seemed to stop. Lyra couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The woman standing before her had her eyes, her hair, even the small crescent-shaped birthmark near her shoulder. The mark Lyra had always wondered about. The mark no one could explain. "You died," Lyra whispered. The woman's face crumpled. That's what they wanted everyone to believe. Shock rippled through the chamber. The Alpha King stepped forward. "You know her?" The woman nodded. "I know exactly who she is." Fear suddenly replaced the joy in her eyes. She grabbed Lyra's hands. "We don't have much time." Questions flooded Lyra's mind. Where had she been? Why had she disappeared? Why return now? But before she could ask any of them, the woman revealed the truth. Years ago, she had served within the palace, not as a servant, as a guardian of an ancient bloodline, a bloodline connected directly to the moon goddess. When Lyra was born, powerful people learned the prophecy. They became afraid, because the prophecy didn't simply predict a future Luna. It predicted someone capable of changing the balance of power forever. Certain leaders believed such a person could not be allowed to exist, so they acted. The woman had been forced to flee with her newborn child, but they were discovered, separated, and everyone was told she had died. Lyra listened in stunned silence. Her entire life had been built on a lie. Every lonely year, every unanswered question, every painful memory. Nothing had been what it seemed. "Who separated us?" she asked. The woman's expression darkened. Before she could answer, footsteps echoed through the corridor. Many footsteps. The Alpha King's senses sharpened instantly. Someone was coming. Fast. The hidden door burst open. Armed guards flooded into the chamber. Behind them stood the princess. Her calm mask had finally fallen away. "What a touching reunion," she said. The woman's face turned pale. The princess knew exactly who she was, which meant she knew far more than anyone had realized. "You've been hiding quite a few secrets," the princess continued. The Alpha King stepped protectively in front of Lyra. "Enough." But the princess only smiled. A dangerous smile. "Do you truly believe this changes anything?" Her gaze shifted toward Lyra. The kingdom will never accept her. The chamber erupted into arguments, accusations, demands. Yet beneath the chaos, Lyra noticed something terrifying. The guards weren't watching the Alpha King. They were watching the princess, waiting for orders. The realization hit like ice. She had far more influence than she should. Then the woman beside Lyra made a desperate decision. "Run." The word came out sharp, urgent. Everyone froze. "Run now." The Alpha King immediately understood. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The woman suddenly shoved Lyra toward him. There are things she doesn't know yet. Fear filled her eyes. If they learn the full truth, she'll never survive. The princess's expression changed. For the first time, genuine panic flashed across her face, as though the woman had almost revealed something important, something she desperately wanted hidden. Before anyone could react, a loud crash echoed through the chamber. The ancient ceiling trembled. Dust rained from above. Several guards stumbled backward. In confusion, the woman seized a fallen torch and hurled it toward a stack of ancient scrolls. Flames exploded upward. Smoke rapidly filled the room. Chaos erupted. The Alpha King grabbed Lyra's hand. They ran. Shouts followed them through the tunnels. The passage twisted deeper beneath the palace. Neither stopped, not until they emerged far beyond the outer walls. Only then did they turn back. Dark smoke rose into the sky. The palace seemed impossibly distant. Lyra's chest tightened. Her mother was still inside. "We have to go back." His expression was grim. "No, she's alone. We don't know if she's alive." The words shattered her. Hours earlier, she had believed her mother was dead. Now she might truly be gone. Again, the loss hit harder than she expected. Tears burned her eyes. Yet there was no time to grieve, because riders were already searching the roads. Word spread quickly. By sunset, royal messengers had reached every neighboring territory. The announcement shocked the entire kingdom. Lyra was no longer being described as a servant. She was being branded as a threat, a fugitive, a danger to the crown. Wanted posters appeared across villages and marketplaces. The reward for information was enormous. People she had known for years would gladly betray her. The life she once had was gone, completely gone. As darkness settled over the forest, exhaustion finally overtook her. They stopped beside an abandoned shelter. For the first time all day, silence surrounded them. The Alpha King sat across from her. Neither spoke. Too much had changed. Too quickly. Then his wolf suddenly surged beneath the surface. A low growl escaped him. He stood instantly. Alert. Danger radiated from every part of him. "What is it?" she asked. His eyes fixed on the darkness beyond the trees. Several shadows moved between the branches. Not guards. Not hunters. Something else. Something older. More powerful. Then a familiar voice emerged from the darkness. A voice Lyra never expected to hear again. "My daughter." She froze. Her mother stepped into the moonlight. Alive. But she wasn't alone. Dozens of wolves emerged behind her, and every one of them immediately bowed to Lyra. For several seconds, Lyra could only stare. The wolves remained bowed, silent, respectful, waiting. She looked from them to her mother, certain she was misunderstanding something. "Why are they doing that?" Her mother smiled sadly. "Because they know who you are." The answer only deepened confusion. The Alpha King stepped closer. His attention remained fixed on the wolves. They were not ordinary pack members. Their confidence revealed years of discipline and loyalty. More importantly, they clearly answered to only one person, the woman who had supposedly died decades ago. The group escorted them deeper into the forest. By sunrise, they reached a hidden settlement nestled between towering cliffs. Lyra's breath caught. An entire community lived there. Families, warriors, children, dozens of wolves who had vanished from history. People who had spent years hiding from the kingdom. The moment she arrived, everyone welcomed her warmly. No suspicion, no judgment, no whispers. For the first time in her life, she felt like she belonged somewhere. Later that day, her mother finally revealed the truth. Long ago, a secret order had been created to protect descendants of the moon goddess. Their duty was simple: guard the bloodline until the chosen heir appeared. For generations, they waited, watching, protecting, preparing. Then Lyra was born. The prophecy began moving toward fulfillment. Fearful leaders tried to stop it before it could happen. Many members of the order were hunted. Some disappeared. Others were forced into hiding. But the order survived, and now they believe their waiting was over. "You think I'm the heir?" Her mother nodded. "We know you are." The words felt impossible. Lyra had spent her entire life believing she was insignificant. Now everyone seemed convinced she was destined for something greater. Part of her wanted to reject it, to run from it. But another part remembered the dreams, the mark, the prophecy, the impossible chain of events that had brought her here. Nothing about her life felt ordinary anymore. Over the following days, she began learning things she never knew she could do. Ancient traditions, forgotten histories, techniques passed down through generations. As her understanding grew, so did her confidence. The mark on her wrist became brighter, stronger. Sometimes it reacted to her emotions. Other times it seemed to guide her. One evening, while practicing alone beneath the moonlight, something extraordinary happened. Silver energy spread across her skin. The surrounding air shimmered. The wolves nearby immediately sensed it. Several dropped to one knee. Even her mother looked stunned. No one had expected the power to awaken so quickly. Word spread throughout the settlement. Hope returned. For years, They had survived by hiding. Now they finally believed change was possible. Meanwhile, reports from the kingdom continued arriving. The princess had tightened her grip on the court. More arrests, more investigations, more efforts to find Lyra. Yet something else caught everyone's attention. The Alpha King was openly refusing pressure to continue the engagement. His relationship with the princess had visibly fractured. Rumors spread across every territory. Some believed he had lost his mind. Others believed the moon goddess herself was interfering. The truth was far simpler. The mate bond was growing stronger. Neither could ignore it anymore. Days later, while standing atop a cliff overlooking the valley, Lyra felt his presence before she saw him. He approached alone. No guards, no soldiers, no royal banners. Just him. The conversation that followed felt different from anything they had shared before. Honest, unfiltered. For the first time, they spoke not as a king and a servant, not as fugitives and rulers, but as two people caught in the middle of something neither had chosen. He admitted the engagement felt impossible now. Every instinct pushed him toward her. Every attempt to resist only made the bond stronger. The confession stirred emotion she had tried to bury, yet fear remained. Too much uncertainty surrounded them. Too many enemies waited for them to fail. As sunset painted the horizon gold, her mother arrived carrying an ancient wooden chest. The moment everyone saw it, silence spread. The chest had remained sealed for generations. No one had ever opened it, because it could only be unlocked by the true heir. Her mother placed it before Lyra. The mark on her wrist immediately began glowing. A silver light flowed from her skin into the lock. With a soft click, the chest opened. Inside rested a collection of ancient scrolls. One scroll stood apart from the others. Its seal carried the symbol of the moon goddess. Hands trembling, Lyra opened it. The words inside changed everything. The prophecy everyone knew was incomplete. A crucial section had been hidden centuries ago. One final passage, one final warning. She read it twice, then a third time. The blood drained from her face. The Alpha King noticed immediately. "What is it?" Lyra slowly lifted her eyes. Shock filled every part of her expression. The prophecy never said, "I would simply become Luna." Silence settled around them. Her voice barely rose above a whisper. "It says the kingdom's future depends on the true heir and her mate." The Alpha King's jaw tightened, and she swallowed hard, then revealed the final line. The man chosen by the moon goddess will be forced to choose between the crown and the woman he loves. The valley fell silent, because for the first time, they understood the true cost of destiny. And somewhere inside the kingdom, the princess had just received a message revealing exactly where they were hiding. The warning arrived too late. Before sunrise, scouts rushed into the settlement with grim news. Royal forces were approaching. Not hundreds, thousands. The hidden sanctuary that had remained secret for decades had finally been exposed. Fear spread quickly through the valley. Families gathered supplies. Warriors prepared defenses. Children were escorted toward underground shelters. The atmosphere transformed overnight. The Alpha King immediately took charge. His experience brought order to the chaos. Yet even as he organized offenses, a difficult truth weighed heavily on him. Every soldier marching toward the valley served his kingdom, his people. Many had sworn loyalty to him personally. Now, they were being sent against a woman destined to be his mate. The conflict tore at him from both sides. Hours later, the first banners appeared along the ridges. The princess had arrived. She stood at the front of the army, confident, determined, certain victory was within reach. A meeting was demanded before any confrontation began. Reluctantly, both sides agreed. By noon, representatives gathered in a clearing between the opposing forces. The tension was unbearable. Everyone understood that one wrong move could ignite disaster. The princess stepped forward first. Her eyes locked onto Lyra. For a moment, neither spoke. Then the princess laughed softly. "Look at you." The words carried neither kindness nor admiration, only resentment. "You were supposed to remain invisible." Silence followed. The princess continued. "I spent years building my future." Her voice grew sharper. "Years preparing to become Luna." The Alpha King frowned. Enough. But she ignored him. Her focus remained entirely on Lyra. You stole everything." The accusation hung in the air. For the first time, Lyra answered without fear. "No." The princess's smile vanished. "I didn't steal anything." The words landed harder than any insult, because deep down, everyone knew they were true. The moon goddess had made the choice. Not Lyra, not the Alpha King. Destiny itself had intervened. The princess's expression hardened. "I love this kingdom." The statement surprised many, including Lyra. Tears briefly appeared in the princess's eyes. For the first time, genuine vulnerability surfaced beneath her anger. "I wanted protected." The confession changed everything. She wasn't driven solely by jealousy. She was terrified. Terrified of losing the future she had spent years building. Terrified of becoming irrelevant. Terrified of watching someone else take the place she believed was hers. Yet sympathy could not erase the damage she had caused. The arrests, the lies, the manipulation, the lives ruined in pursuit of power. One of the elders stepped forward carrying ancient records recovered from hidden archives, documents long believed destroyed, evidence of everything. The crowd watched as the truth emerged. Records proving attempts had been made to eliminate the bloodline years ago. Orders signed in secret, witness accounts, names, dates, details. The revelation stunned everyone. Many had assumed the attacks were isolated events. Instead, they had been carefully planned. A campaign spanning decades. The princess slowly realized what was happening. The evidence pointed directly toward her family, not merely political rivals, not distant enemies, her own bloodline. Generations before her birth, her ancestors had helped orchestrate the persecution. The secret had been buried for years. Now it stood exposed before thousands. Shock rippled across both armies. Many soldiers lowered their weapons. Some stepped away entirely. The foundation supporting the princess's authority began crumbling. Yet instead of surrendering, desperation took over. Her composure finally shattered. "You don't understand." She pointed toward Lyra. "If she fulfills the prophecy, everything changes." "No," Lyra replied calmly. "Everything changes only if people refuse to learn from the past." The words struck harder than any threat. Silence spread across the clearing. Many who had arrived expecting war now questioned everything. The princess saw it happening. Support slipping away. Control fading. The future she had fought for collapsing before her eyes. Then she made a choice. A reckless one. A final attempt to regain power. She revealed the secret message she had received days earlier. A hidden section of the prophecy. One that had not appeared in the scroll. One that changed everything. The crowd listened in stunned silence. According to the message, the Alpha King's choice would trigger a permanent consequence. If he chose his mate over the crown, he would lose his position forever. The throne would pass to another bloodline. Immediately, without challenge, without reversal, the kingdom would gain its true Luna, but it would lose its king. Shock swept through gathering. Every eye turned toward him. The prophecy's final cost had finally been revealed. The choice was no longer symbolic. It was real, brutally real. Love or crown, mate or kingdom. One future required sacrifice in the other. The Alpha King stood frozen. The weight of generations rested on his shoulders. His entire life had prepared him for leadership. Everything he had built, everything he had protected, everything he had promised. Now, destiny demanded an answer. The princess watched carefully, a faint smile returning, because for the first time, she believed she could still win, not by defeating Lyra, but by forcing him to choose. The clearing remained silent. No one breathed. No one moved. Then a voice suddenly echoed from the edge of the crowd. A voice older than memory itself. A voice every wolf instantly recognized. The moon goddess. The silver sky above began glowing, and as the light descended toward the valley, everyone realized the final choice would be made much sooner than anyone expected.